welcome back. So I want to do a video on these pea puffers here. I did receive them from a friend and he wasn't able to get them to eat. They were starting to starve, so he gave them to me. And right here, I'm going to start this video off just by feeding these guys, just to try to get them to the front, and then we can talk about them. So I did just put in here some frozen bloodworms and some frozen mysis shrimp. I'm going to see if they're going to go after this food. So they look pretty curious. I do have 4 of them in this tank. There's 3 right there, and there's the 4th one. So the thing about pea puffers is they're very territorial. They don't like to be with other fish in their tank. I've tried them in the past with guppies and with betta fish. It never works. They're gonna go after the fins. They love going after the fins. It looks like they are actually biting this frozen food. Another thing to talk about is that they are hard to get to eat. A lot of times they don't eat flake food, they don't eat pellet food. They want to either eat frozen bloodworms, sometimes frozen mysis shrimp, and many times they won't even eat any frozen food at all. They are pretty territorial, so they do want to be in aquariums of 10 gallons or more, especially when you keep them in groups. These 4 little guys are pretty hungry here. I got them in a 12-gallon tank. I'm sure they'll be okay for a little bit until we fatten them up. But give it time, they might start picking at each other, and then we might have to split them off into some other aquariums. So one thing I want to try feeding these guys is some snails from this tank. So I got a whole ton of snails here. Two, 3, 4, and 4. Everybody gets one. So the frozen food's working pretty good. Let's see how they react to these snails. Now live food is pretty good. They like eating snails, so you don't want to keep them in tanks with invertebrates. That's another reason why they basically have no tank mates they can be with other than other pea puffers if they're in a tank big enough. I would say if you want to keep them in multiple groups, 15 gallons or more. Right now they're in a 12-gallon tank. Like I said, I got to keep a close eye on them. They might start picking off at each other once they're fat and happy. Oh yeah, here we go. Now, when pea puffers are young, they're hard to tell male from female, but as they get older, the male pea puffers typically have a dark green patch and better colors. You know, their colors are a little more vibrant, and their bellies are also more yellow. He's slowly coming out of the chimney of the house, and some bamboo back here in the filtration. Definitely eyeing down these snails. They are getting ready. Oh, poor guy. Might throw some fresh snails in there. In terms of temperature, anything between 74 and 80, 81 is probably ideal. There they go. She's on him down. What ends up happening with these fish is that you want an aquarium with good filtration because of all the frozen food and all the live food that you're going to be giving them. Best case scenario, they eat dry food. Worst case scenario, they don't even eat frozen food and you got to give them some kind of snails, or you have a heavy planted tank and it's a little bit easier to sustain that.